Hello everyone, this is Dr. Jawad. Hey, over the last couple of years, my YouTube channel has grown tremendously, and I can only appreciate it, the viewers who subscribe. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button to get the first up-to-date videos, or you could always Google my name, Dr. Janan Jawad, and you could go to my JDoc Real Minute page. Again, if you hit the subscribe button, you'll get the most up-to-date videos, and thanks everybody who's watching. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Hello everyone, this is Dr. Joe. In the short video, I'm going to talk about a condition that you see a lot of, however, it shows no symptoms. Now again, if somebody has symptoms of fatty liver, it's typically pathology by then, okay? But 90% of the people walking around shows no symptoms of fatty liver. Now I'm talking about the non-alcoholic fatty liver, otherwise known as hepatic steatosis. Now hepatic means liver. Steatosis basically is the accumulation of fat in the liver, not necessarily caused by alcohol. A lot of people say that, hey, you know what, I'm not an alcoholic, I don't drink that much, how do I get fatty liver? Well, what happens is that what constitutes for fatty liver? If 5% of the liver's weight gets to be made up of fat, you have fatty liver. Now, how do you even know if you have it? I just tell my patients or people, if you could just look down and grab a chunk of fat on your tummy, belly fat, you have fatty liver. Okay, so again, what's the cause of fatty liver? The cause of fatty liver is not necessarily only caused by alcohol, because what happens when we have increased carbs or sugars, what happens, the liver cannot convert the excessive amount of carbohydrates and sugar, so it goes into a process called lipogenesis. Lipogenesis is really it's the fat production factory of the liver, because the liver gets boggy. Now what happens when the liver gets boggy, when lipogenesis occurs, then this is where you get in your blood work increased triglycerides, which is the accumulation of blood fat, how much fat's in your blood, as well as your increased low density lipoproteins. Because usually what happens is that when you have increased carbohydrates and sugars, you're causing systemic inflammation in the arteries. Cholesterol, which is the arterial band-aid, the low density lipoproteins have to go there and patch up the hole. So this is where you get the increase in low density lipoproteins. Also too, fructose. Now, fructose is nature's candy, I realize that. However, fructose and glucose are two different mechanisms of how the body breaks it down. Okay, glucose has to be broken down a certain way with insulin, and I'll get to that in a second. Fructose, actually, it gets stored in the fat by the way of the vena portal vein, the portal vein. Okay, the portal vein just acts as a shunt to directly store the fat in the liver, the fructose. Because the thing about fructose, it doesn't take any insulin. There's no insulin release with fructose. Again, fruit is fruit sugar. Fructose is fruit sugar. So what happens, it converts directly to triglycerides and gets stored as fat. So yes, fruit is good for us. However, you can get fat and fatty liver by eating a lot of fruit. This is why I always recommend to my patients only 1 to 2 servings of fruit per day. Now again, if you're going to have some fruit, definitely you always recommend berries. All right. Now what happens if you have fatty liver, okay, you're going to get into a pre-diabetic state, because what happens, the body deposits the fat in the liver and around the other organs, because it spills over, and this is what's called visceral fat. So what happens in a pre-diabetic or insulin resistant state, this is the individual who has the hard stomach, because not only do you have the fat accumulation in the liver, but it spills over around the other body organs. Okay, and that's bad because it actually suffocates the other body organs, visceral fat. Okay, so the key thing is, because people always say, well, I thought eating fat will cause fatty liver. Actually, quite the opposite, because when you eat fat, you don't have an insulin response. Okay, and this is very important, because what happens is the function of insulin, okay, is to really escort glucose into the cell. Now the liver, phenomenal organ, it's in the right upper quadrant of your body. The functions are, 1, to detoxify blood, also to produce bile, okay, also to produce hormones, also to stores vitamins, minerals, iron. It's also essential in chronic diseases. When people have chronic diseases, they have chronic liver inflammation, because the liver produces cholesterol, which acts as an anti-inflammatory, actually the arterial band-aid. Okay, so what happens when we have a carbohydrate and a sugar, The pancreas releases insulin. And basically the function of insulin is to escort glucose into the cell. However, insulin's job is also to make fat and cholesterol. Okay, so when you have too much, you're depositing fat and cholesterol in your liver. What happens when you have too much carbohydrates and not enough fat, you're creating what's called insulin resistance. Basically, insulin cannot get into the cell. It's like a blockade. Then what happens, the liver sends a signal to the pancreas to release more insulin because it's not coming into the liver. So then the pancreas increases its release of insulin from anywhere from 5 to 7 times. And this is where you just get insulin resistance, which is not good. It's a pre-diabetic state. Because remember, the function of insulin is to regulate blood sugar, also to converts carbs to cholesterol and fat. Okay, and this is where you get alcoholic, non-alcoholic fatty liver through too many carbohydrates and sugars. So the thing is, there's no symptoms. But the problem is when you have fatty liver, on a cellular level, you create a cirrhosis. Now that's scar tissue. So it actually increases the stresses on the liver in of itself. Also too, when you have too much fat, it rolls over. You get a liver roll, you get the body fat, you get the visceral fat, which is not good for the other organs in the system because it kind of like suffocates them, lack of a better term. So now the question is, what do you do? Now again, I always say you do not necessarily have to be obese, okay, to have fatty liver. So what do you do? Very simple. Again, I'm going to say a very nasty word, and it's called lifestyle. You need a lifestyle change. Change whatever you're doing now, okay? Because what happens, number one, is that you have to remove the hydrogenated oils, okay? The peanut oil, all the bad oils, because that causes inflammation. Increase your choline. Now, either you're going to supplement with choline, okay, or you're going to eat choline. Now, where do you find choline at? Egg yolks, okay? The whole egg got a nasty reputation back in the days. I'm old. But no, the egg yolk is rich in choline, and the function of choline is actually to dissolve fat. Also, too, cruciferous vegetables, the broccolis, the Brussels sprouts. Again, not only rich in choline, okay, but also, too, is a phenomenal liver detoxifier, decreases liver inflammation. You want to remove all the fat and the scar tissue from the liver to make it work better. Number one, no sugar. No sugar, no sugar, no sugar. Because remember, every time you have sugar, you're releasing insulin. The function of insulin is to, again, deposit the fat. So you want to remove all sugar. Now, supplementation, you want to take the supplements to clean up the liver pathways. Okay? Milk thistle is always a must. That's an herbal route. Or if you want to go the amino acid route, which I've done in other previous videos on this, phenomenal, the master detoxifier, okay, the fire extinguisher for the liver, is glutathione. You want to take glutathione, load up on the glutathione. It's an amino acid. You're going to take it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach because what that's going to do, that's help going to clean out the liver pathways. When I have my patients on glutathione who have fatty liver, they get better immediately. They feel a difference. Now the question is, how long is it going to take for you to reverse fatty liver? Well, that's a great question because I always ask, well, how long did it take to get you here? Reversing a fatty liver is going to process because the good thing about the liver, it's the only organ in our body that actually regenerates its own cells. So you could actually reverse the damage done by cleaning up your diet, including milk thistle and glutathione, again, to your supplement regimen, okay, to help clean up the liver. All right, so I hope you liked the video. Please hit the like button down below. Please share with a friend. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next one. And as always, be good. Hello everyone, this is Dr. Jawad. Hey, over the last couple of years, my YouTube channel has grown tremendously, and I can only appreciate it, the viewers who subscribe. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button to get the first up-to-date videos, or you could always Google my name, Dr. Janan Jawad, and you could go to my JDoc Real Minute page. Again, if you hit the subscribe button, you'll get the most up-to-date videos. And thanks everybody who's watching. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.